The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome back to the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas, and today's episode is presented by Razorback Apparel. Just go to razorbacks.com and use code HOGSBY20 for 20% off your first purchase today. Hey, apologies for not being on Inside Arkansas Live on Thursday. You know, sometimes life happens, and had some unexpected things that I had to take care of at home, but all is well on that front. Looking forward to being back on the show today. Kind of salty that I wasn't able to get in on the defensive line conversation, but I'll live. What I cannot live without is talking Razorback basketball here on the Pod at the Palace. And tell you the truth, I also can't live without Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas. Hey, you know, we are getting closer to the holiday season with Halloween being just around the corner this fall. I confirmed today, I was in CVS picking up a prescription. All the Halloween candy was already out, so people are already getting in the spirit, even though it's still hot outside. College football hasn't even started yet, but we're already thinking about Halloween. And as soon as that's over, Christmas is there. We're getting close, and many of you love getting in the holiday spirit. You just don't have time or the resources to light up your house, wow the neighborhood, be the talk of the block. Luckily for you, Walter Christmas Lighting has you covered this fall and winter. If you're in Northwest Arkansas or the River Valley, have Walter Christmas Lighting install and set up your house with professional Halloween and Christmas lighting like you've never seen before. They make it easy on you. All the materials are provided, any color, any pattern. They install the lights, free maintenance throughout the holiday season. They got the takedowns for you come January. If you sign up for the Halloween lights, you will also get your Christmas lights for 50% off. Just text our guy, Brett. Hit him up, get a free estimate. 479-459-1380 is the phone number. You can also check out their website at walterchristmaslighting.com or like them on Facebook by scanning the QR code on your screen. It's Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, your local holiday lighting experts. I'm excited to work with them. I really am. I can't wait to get the house all tricked out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so getting into it here this morning. We teased this yesterday as we introduced ourselves to new Razorback offer Chase Foster. That we probably need to do just a little, recruiting big board, hot board reset for this 2026 class and how it's shaping up at the moment here for Arkansas. So what I've done is switch it up a little bit because sometimes it gets a little bit monotonous. Everybody wants to do the hot, cold, warm, cool thing, or place them into, rankings or whatever. I put them into tiers is what we did here. We're just going to have a little bit of fun with it. Specific categories for all of Arkansas's targets on kind of where I have things standing right here at the moment. And so I'll pull that up and we'll go into detail here on each one of them. And once we get through that, we'll have a little fun to wrap up our Friday with something a little bit different. But there we go. So first category. Too bad this ain't horseshoes. And, I'm reminded of the great poet, Ricky Bobby. Conversation with his old man, Reese, on Talladega Nights. The famous quote, "If you ain't first, you're last." Oh, hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that. That doesn't make any sense at all. You can be second, third, fourth. Hell, you can even be fifth. In most cases, Papa Reese was right, okay? But in the case of recruiting, I think our man Ricky Bobby, he might have been onto something. In this category, I have three guys who I think Arkansas is prioritizing. They're doing a great job recruiting. There's legit mutual interest. Official visits are scheduled. But I do believe the Razorbacks are running a strong second for all three, and that's Jordan Smith Jr., Arafan Gian, and Tay Kenny. You hear that, and you're like, well, what the heck, man? Okay, is there a realistic world where any or all three could be Razorbacks? Yeah, of course. You better believe it. That's not in question. The issue, or maybe the fly in the serum here at the moment, is that there's just a more realistic world as of today where Jordan Smith Jr. is a Duke Blue Devil, and Arafan's a Houston Cougar, and Tay Kenny winds up a Louisville Cardinal. Doesn't mean all three are going to end up that way. Heck, think about it. This time a year ago, Malik Thomas was expected to be a UConn Husky. Well, look at him now, rocking the Razorback Reds. So, again, a visit is scheduled for all three of these guys back-to-back weeks here, starting in less than a month. We all know how quickly things can change once you get a kid on campus. Would you rather be out in front? Would you rather be the leader at this stage? Sure. But recruiting's fluid. We know that. So don't be discouraged or anything like that. It's far too early for all that. But it's just a pretty good measure, I believe, of where things stand in the moment. I also know that John Calipari, now he doesn't get every single recruit that he zeroes in on, but he darn sure doesn't miss on all of his priorities. So keep that in mind as well. We're still talking about Coach Cal here. Nobody does it better than him. So who would be the most likely to wind up a hog from this group? And it's kind of weird for me, but since, this guy is the one who he's got like the crystal balls or the, predictions, whatever, to go elsewhere. But I think my answer to that question, based on everything I gather, would probably be Big Arafan Gian. Kelvin Sampson's recruited the heck out of him. He really has it. And he's already visited once. He's scheduled for another. I really do believe that they're probably the team to beat at this stage. But I think they're also the team who could be beat. Maybe more so than the others. If Cal pushed all his chips in from an NIL standpoint, also comparatively speaking, I think it's hard to argue with John Calipari's track record with big men, forwards. Let's go look around the NBA. He's got plenty of resumes who are out there, getting in all-star games and making hundreds of millions of dollars. Kenny Payne looms large here with his ability to develop big men, the whisperer, the guru. So, I would say that Arafan doesn't, I guess he also doesn't have the same natural ties to other schools as the other two guys who fall into this category. So who would be the most likely of the three? I think as of right now today, and again, like things change quickly, but that would probably be my answer. Personally, I think Jordan Smith Jr. is a prototype John Calipari guard, more so than he is a Duke guard. Just being honest, that's how I feel when I watch him play. I also realize, though, how heavy Duke has been on him. And John Shire's recent track record of success with freshmen and the long list of players that we've talked about from John Paul VI, Jordan Smith Jr.'s high school, who've become Blue Devils. It's fairly close to home for whatever that's worth these days. So I do feel like Arkansas is going to have to really make a strong impression when they get him here for that visit. And, I can't wait for all these visits to happen and we kind of gather some intel on that, and then we can run this stuff back and see what changes. But right now, that's how, that's what I feel like we're dealing with here. With Kenny, if you recall a couple of days ago, I was giving some interesting info on where Arkansas stands, which is up there with Louisville as favorites. A stronger position than I initially believed them to be in. Louisville's long been presumed as the leader here. It's an Adidas school for an Adidas kid. He's a home state talent. He's from Kentucky. I would say there's, a lot of things, in fairness, working in Louisville's favor. But Kenny and his people are really, really high on Coach Cal. And he's done a good job in this recruitment here. Coach Cal, who was also in Kentucky the whole time that Tay Kenny was growing up in that state and bursting onto the scene, they're serious about Arkansas, folks. So could the visit coming up be enough to tip the scales? I guess we'll find out. I wouldn't rule it out. I just don't know that they're there yet. The next category, shiny new toys. And we've got three newish names who've, entered the fold since Peach Jam, two new offers and new teammates for what it's worth at IMG, Cole Kluwer and Chase Foster. And then a not new target, but a newly available one in Baba Lataton after he reclassified from 2027 up to 2026. You guys know the drill. I think it's, shiny new toys because they're the newest to the board, right? I think it's too early to make any grand declarations about this trio. But what I can say about each is I know for a fact that Arkansas is in there with Baba. Right? If we were going to do the standard temperature gauge with him, I would have Arkansas listed as warm with the potential to get hot. I really think they could be a player in the game here. So, Foster, we talked about a ton yesterday, so go back and check out that episode for, all the details. But I would say keep an eye on when a visit gets scheduled for both of these guys, because I do expect this to happen for both of them. And, with Baba, that would just be huge just to get it to happen, right? With Foster, I really think keep an eye on it. Does that happen before or after the Arafan deal? That's kind of where I'm at with it, because I think that kind of gives you an indication of, is he a priority or is he the contingency plan if Arafan winds up trending elsewhere, if he does wind up at Houston? So that's really what I've got my eye on there. I will say also with Foster, when you look at the other schools in the mix, and again, we talked about it. Yes, it was like a full 25, 30-minute episode just on him yesterday, but visiting Oklahoma State, Maryland's in there, Villanova. I just have a feeling that if Arkansas wants, Arkansas gets when it comes to Foster. And the story is the same as it has been with Kluwer. I think I do believe that it's very noteworthy that Arkansas came in and offered late after he had already cut his list to a final 8, and then they got a visit right away anyway. And I really don't think that there's a clear established front runner at this stage. Now he's got the full tour of visits, so that pecking order will start to take shape here. But I feel like anyone getting him on campus is going to have a legitimate shot here. And he's visiting Arkansas, so you got to feel decent about it, at least. Third category I have is, so you're saying there's a chance. Meaning guys who, Arkansas's recruited hard at various points, who they may not necessarily be running hot with at the moment, but either the jury remains out on them or they're just running a very quiet recruitment. So you just remain aware. You keep your antennas up to see how things shake out. Why do I have Tyron Stokes in this category? Well, because most of the national buzz is centered elsewhere, frankly. A lot of it towards Kentucky at the moment. He's got some other visits scheduled elsewhere, USC, Gonzaga, one other school. So there's that part of it. But I do also have a pair of sources they're just adamant that Arkansas is more of a player in the game here than most folks tend to believe. One of them is a source on the Arkansas side, and one of them is a source in the recruiting circles, in the EYBL specifically. So, I would love to believe that. And I do, to a degree. I absolutely do. But to tell you the truth, until I see Tyron Stokes' boots on the ground in Fayetteville for a visit, I'm not going to go crazy dreaming up the possibilities here. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to do it to you guys. So am I aware of it? Am I paying attention? Am I watching? Absolutely. Am I going crazy? Nah, not just yet. I have Brandon McCoy in this category. Why? Quiet recruitment for a kid ranked top 3 in his class. Isn't it? It's kind of crazy how that one's going down. Just so under the radar. He keeps it very tight very close to the vest. He has all the heavy hitters on him. Duke has long been felt to be in the driver's seat, but I'm told that this is more of an open race actually than maybe it was believed to be a little while back. And that would actually track if all of a sudden, Duke is trending more heavily for Jordan Smith Jr. Could they get them both? Yeah. They've pulled in 5 stars in multiple classes here recently, so it's not the craziest thing in the world. But could it be telling that they're making a real push for Jordan Smith now? Maybe. So Arkansas has recruited McCoy for quite some time. As soon as he came back to the EYBL, remember he didn't play, I guess, like the first 3 sessions, and then he made his return. Staff was front and center for him. And there's West Coast schools like USC and UCLA, Kansas, Bama's in there. Will Wade's trying to get in there. There are others. Still, as buttoned up as his camp keeps things, I'm just a little hesitant here, and I'm kind of in announce a visit and then let's really get weird mode. Because I have a hunch, semi-educated hunch, that if, in fact, Jordan Smith Jr. does start trending elsewhere towards Duke, whatever, that this might be the pivot for Arkansas. One of them. There's always contingency plans. I'm not saying that he's a backup plan to Jordan Smith Jr., but if you felt really great and really strong about him for the longest, and if that starts trending in the wrong direction, then you make a stronger push elsewhere, is kind of what I'm talking about there. Let's see. Caleb Holt. I also have in this category, but this one I think is least likely as it stands right now. It doesn't really have anything to do with Arkansas, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not saying Arkansas isn't lurking around here, and hell, maybe they can generate some more traction with him. but it's hard to look past the smoke elsewhere unless something changes on this front with the Razorbacks. Like Auburn and Alabama are deep in there. They have officials on the books. He's already gone to Bama for an unofficial. They're entrenched in this recruitment. And he's from the state. Both Kentucky and Kansas are after him very, very hard. He's taken an official visit to Ole Miss. So I feel very much outside looking in on this one, unless there's a material change that takes place there. Next category, Old Flames on standby. Pretty cut and dry here. Abdu Touré's already been on campus. Took an unofficial visit last October. Not only has Arkansas remained active with him since, there is a world where he could have potentially even been a Razorback this season if some other dominoes fell differently. At least that's something that I was told was kicked around as a possibility by someone that I trust. Cal likes him. Also been told that UConn, who is believed to be a top contender, a serious player in the game, is out for now. He's from Connecticut. Providence, Oregon, Louisville, a few others who are, in there. This is one, and I've said it before, could be a hog, I believe, if they decide to make him one. If they go all in and say, hey, let's get this done, I think they can do it. Then I got Mika Murnin in this category, and the truth is he actually belongs in the next one, the final category. But this is a kid who's already taken an official visit to Arkansas. So, yeah, I would consider that an old flame on standby. And, there was also some truth to the potential reclass rumors with him earlier in the spring. But there's zero denying that things have cooled off here. I've been told by multiple people there may be a red flag, sounds harsh, but I don't know how else to describe it. A thing or two that have popped up, which is part of why his recruitment in general, not just with Arkansas, has gotten fairly quiet. But he also needs to play and play well. Struggled in his junior season, only averaged 7-4 in the EYBL Scholastic League. Didn't play on the EYBL this summer. He could have won Peach Jam again. Missed that opportunity. JJ did it without him. So I think the biggest tell with Mika is going to be watch how he performs in the Euro Cup with Team Finland the next few weeks here, and then see if things really start to pick back up with him on the recruiting front and where Arkansas stands at that point. There's no denying the talents there. It's just, it's gone quiet for now. Last but not least, grab a jacket here. It's getting chilly. Two guys who Arkansas was pretty hot on early, but there just hasn't been much buzz as the summer has progressed. Christian Collins, we talked about it. You guys remember how high I was on him early in the spring? Shoot, I remember after one of those live evaluation periods, he was my favorite. Hands down, I was like, all right, they got to go get this dude. He really struggled relative to his ranking, I guess I should say, late in the summer. And Cal wasn't nearly as active at his games. And then with Taj, there was never quite as much buzz there. And then, he has several visits scheduled that are not to Arkansas right now. So I'm open to a heat wave coming through because I do like both of these players, but that's kind of where we're at for now. There you have it. Okay. Hey, today's episode of the Pod at the Palace is presented by our friends at BetSaracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Sign up today with promo code BOOSTED, and you'll get a 100% profit boost to use on a bet of your choosing. Here are the deets. Betting odds must be plus 5,000 or shorter, so plus 1,500, plus 1,000, plus 100, whatever. Any type of bet's fair game, pre-match, in-play, singles, parlays. Any sport, league, or event, doesn't have to be Razorback specific, NFL, NBA, you name it, you can bet on it. New players only eligible for this deal, and it's a $25 max wager. Again, just use the code BOOSTED, that's BOOSTED, for 100% profit boost on the app today. Get you winning big money this season by downloading BetSaracen on your iPhone or on your Android device. You can also bet online at BetSaracen.com. It's BetSaracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Okay, before we move to the final segment here, I want to just quickly talk to you guys one more time about a good time for a good cause coming soon here. If you are a golfer, guys, take advantage of this. The 21st annual Golf for a Cause. Really good deal. Okay, it's a day to grab your clubs, hit the greens. Every drive, putt, high five helps support Ronald McDonald House Charities of Arkansas and North Louisiana, providing comfort and care to families with ill or injured children. that's a cause that you want to be a part of. It's more than a golf tournament. It's a chance to make a real difference here. This year, they're playing in Little Rock at Pleasant Valley Country Club and also Rogers at Pinnacle Country Club. So pick your location. Sign up now because the spots are filling up fast. This is presented by Tyson Foods, McDonald's, and Newlyweds Foods. Breakfast and lunch are going to be served at the event. There's a lot going on. A lot of folks are going to be out there. And again, it all goes to a good cause. Sign up today at rmhcarkansas.org/events. That's rmhcarkansas.org/events today. Proceeds from the tournament in Rogers support the Ronald McDonald House and Ronald McDonald Family Room in Northwest Arkansas. Okay, so here's the deal. Final segment here on the Pod at the Palace. It is a Friday, so it's only right, in my opinion, we just have a little bit of fun to close the week. We took care of some serious business at the start, reset the recruiting board. We needed to do that. I would actually argue that this is equally serious. And a heads up to those listening in podcast form, you can get all the info that you need for this exercise with your ears. But if you're going to disagree with me or agree with me or argue with me, it might be best for the eyes to see this last few minutes on YouTube. Because what we're going to do right now, we're going to rank the top 5 basketball courts in the SEC. Tall task here. By the way, not the top 5 home court advantages, not the top 5 arenas, not the top 5 teams, the top 5 actual basketball floors in the SEC. Curtis, why the heck are we doing this, man? Well, it's the middle of August. Okay, so we're filling some time, but stuff is interesting. It's fun. And it's also inspired by something that I saw here recently, which was the unveiling of the new floor at Arizona. Did you guys, matter of fact, let me pull it up here because if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. She's an absolute beaut. Look at that court. That is, I absolutely love that. I don't know how you could be a college hoops fan and not love this design. A throwback to the days Arkansas was beating Lute Olson in the NCAA tournament. It's clean. It's different. It's unique. It's not too much like whatever Oregon has going on. It doesn't look like a street ball court. I absolutely love this floor and what they got going on over there. Looks good, man. Gets me going. So my criteria considered for the SEC is respect to tradition and nostalgia. Means something to me. I get it. Uniqueness, mid-court logos, and any accessories that are just appeasing to the eyes. Different, something that stands out, something that's not cookie cutter. And it's just one man's opinion. So I'm all for what anybody else thinks here. Personally, I prefer, for example, the actual mascot logos over the lettering or their initials at mid-court in most cases. And also, I got to be honest right off the top here, the SEC, there's a handful. I struggled just a little bit to get to 5. I'm just telling you the truth. And it's, again, just one man's opinion. The SEC's got to step its hardwood game up here. Too many polo shirts with the standard block lettering and nothing else. Not enough juice. Not enough logos on the wings. No paint. Boring in some cases. I know the basketball products where you get 14 teams in the NCAA tournament. So that's why you're there. But can we get a little bit more aesthetically pleasing? Spice it up a little bit. Good grief. I feel like it's kind of a top 4, decent gap, number 5. I guess I had just probably 3 that I was considering for the top 5 there. And then just a drop off. Some of them stink, man. We're not going to go through every one of them, but I will say a couple honorable mentions go to Auburn and Vanderbilt, by the way. And I've got pictures of all these, so we'll pull them up. Here's Auburn's, and I think there might be a little bit of personal bias here. First of all, if you listen to Inside Arkansas Live, you know we got our homeboy Quinn, the resident Auburn fan, who showed us a really good time when John and I were down there. But that's the thing. We were there. Was there in person, got to walk around, got to see it with my own eyes instead of on a computer screen. I just really liked Auburn's feel there in person. It was crisp. It's clean. I think the color scheme really complements the seats that they got going on in there. It looks good. And again, I'm not a huge fan of just the initials. Like, it'd be kind of cool, I think, if they put the tiger in the middle, whatever. But I do like that they've got the paint inside the paint in the lane there. I like the orange accent on the Auburn Tigers on the baselines. There are a lot of things about that court that I think are really nice. So wanted to give them a shout out. Vanderbilt. Do I have that one? Yeah, I do. Here's the thing about Vandy. That's cool. I like it. It's interesting that they utilize the sidelines when so many other places utilize the baselines, but it's because of the weird setup that they have. And to me, Vandy is so unique that you got to talk about it. But if you're going to elevate your court like they do, it's like almost on its own grand stage there, that thing better pop. And the main reason I don't have it on this list is because they went away from the old school logo, the cool one that you can see up there on the scoreboard, like the V inside the star that used to be at midcourt. Now they just got the standard stock V. Why would you do that? I like it just fine the way that it is. Get into our list here. Number 5. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've just got to be honest. Again, one man's personal opinion. It's Mizzou. Norm Stewart Floor at Mizzou Arena. Their actual arena sucks. Sorry. I spent way too much time in there as a scout with Prep Hoops. I've been to Arkansas, Missouri games in there. You guys know I lived in St. Louis for a while. The floor, though, it's pretty tough. I've got to admit, I appreciate the Tiger logo in the middle. I'm just a big fan of that. I love that they've got the like the Mizzou inside the diamond pattern along the baselines there. It's just different. It looks neat. I like that personally. I think the color, the light color of the wood works well with the gold and black that they got going on. The only thing that really drives me nuts about it is the Missouri State outline silhouette that they've got there. I don't like that. I didn't like it when Arkansas did it. I don't like it when Missouri does it. I don't like it when anybody does that. I'm just not a fan of it because I don't think they put enough attention to the detail. I'm not saying you got to have every little nook and cranny, but it just looks generic anytime people do that. And so that's the one thing about it that I don't like, but there are a lot of features about it personally that I really do. Now, number 4, I considered putting higher. I'm not going to lie, but I wound up settling here, and I've already kind of talked myself out of it since we started the show, but whatever. I'm already here. Georgia's new floor. That is sick. Look at that. Say what you want about Georgia basketball. Say what you want about Mike White, but I am in love with the court at Stegman Coliseum. That is dope, man. They kept the logo G at midcourt. Okay, fair enough. It's iconic, right? But instead of doing the stupid state silhouette of Georgia, they have the vintage bulldog right behind it. Look at that. Is it just me, or is that just an awesome touch? I really think that's dope, man. I love that. I love the red lanes with the paint. I love the light color of the hardwood inside the arc. I think that makes it pop pretty good. The only thing I'm not real crazy about is like the kind of ashy, grayish, almost gray washed hardwood all over the rest of the floor there. And maybe I'm just nitpicking, just not my favorite tone of the hardwood there, but everything else about it is sick. I love that bulldog, man. And I'm pretty sure they just did that this year, because I definitely don't remember it from the past. And then I watched some Georgia basketball this year, but Arkansas didn't play there. So I must have missed that they did this. But I was looking at some of the courts to make up our list here and get some pictures. And I saw the On3 story about it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is sick. Cause I had my top 5 picked out. And then I saw this one. I was like, no, we got to make sure we get in here. This is pretty cool. So anyway, number 3, I've got Florida. Now, let me be very clear here. And I know Andrew Ellis agrees with this because I was talking to him and John about it a little bit. This is not even as cool as it once was when Florida used to have, they had the orange, like in the little free throw area at the top in the past. And they also had on either side of the lane, it was like the orange and blue. You guys remember that? It was pretty cool. But for me, it's just hard. It's hard to argue with the gator on the floor at midcourt there. I just like that. And I think in fairness, I personally am also partial to the color scheme. the blue, the gator green, the orange. I just like it. It's always resonated with me, always appealed to me. So I've got Florida there at number 3. Now, number 2, and this is the only one that I even gave the slightest inkling of consideration for the top spot. And it's the floor at Thompson Bowling Arena, Tennessee. Man, there's just something about this that strikes a chord. Man, I just like it. It's super, super nostalgic for me. I love the checkerboard baselines. Absolutely love it. I think that's really cool. I love the salute to Pat Summitt that they've got there on the floor. Well done. I prefer having the lanes colored in, so I like the orange there. They didn't just stick with the the T or whatever at the middle. They got Tennessee spelled out. What does their mascot even look like? So I'm glad that it's not Vols, because I think that would be stupid. I just like the way that it looks. I really do. It just gives me this feeling of tradition. I don't know. I already know if I went to Knoxville and I was there covering a game and I walked out on that floor, it would hit me different. There's just something about that just gives me this feeling of tradition and nostalgia that I really, really appreciate. I'm a huge fan of that court. Number 1, and guys, I swear on everything that I am worth, I would not have picked this a year ago. I wouldn't have done it. But it's Nolan Richardson Court at Bud Walton Arena. You want nostalgia? The Slobber Hog it's just such a thing of beauty. Now, Hunter Yurchek might have hustled us out of $750,000 as a fan base to get that put on there, but it's the best thing he's ever done. And I don't say that as someone who gives him crap for the football team struggles or not embracing NIL. I acknowledge a lot of the success that man's had and the great that he's done for the athletic department in various areas. This takes the cake. Leave it to a basketball guy to say it. God, look at the Slobber Hog. Honestly, the Slobber Hog is probably, I would say, up there with the Mona Lisa when it comes to appreciable art, if we're really being honest here. First of all, it's just intimidating. It hits different, man. It reminds you of a greater time. It reminds you of the 40 Minutes of Hell. It reminds you of Nolan Richardson, which also, shout out to the salute to the legendary Nolan right there on the floor as well. But I will tell you what Auburn will not be doing on Valentine's Day and getting away with. It's having a dance party on the Slobber Hog like they did the other one a couple years ago. You dance on the Slobber Hog, it will actually morph into a transformer and chase you out of Fayetteville. That's what will happen. So the red pops, the hardwood is clean. It's gosh, man, the lines pop. She's just an absolute, just a beaut, Clark. You gotta love it. That's number 1 for me, and I mean that. I really do. I'm not just doing the homer thing here. I say that I wouldn't have picked Arkansas if I'd have done this a year ago. I swear I mean that. Now, because this is an Arkansas show, I would have put it in this top 5 list or whatever with the old court design. I wouldn't have put it at number 1. And my entire basis on that would be, it's just stupid that they don't have the Slobber Hog on the floor. Well, now they do. And it tugs at my heartstrings every single time that I walk in there. Gosh, I love it, man. There you have it. That was fun. Anyway, that's a wrap. I'm out of here. Enjoyed it. Fun show today. Got a lot accomplished. Maybe we learned some things about recruiting, and maybe we have some things to argue about when it comes to the top 5 basketball courts in the SEC. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in nonetheless. Been a fun week. Been a good time. And we'll keep this train rolling. You guys know the drill. Subscribe where you need to get subscribed. If you're not subscribed to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel, please do that for us while you're here. It's free for you. Doesn't change anything for you, but it does help us quite a bit, and we would appreciate it. And then also, hey, podcast form, wherever you listen, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere that you get your podcast, the Pod at the Palace can be found there. And I can be found here next time. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace. You guys have a good day. Enjoy the start of your weekend. We'll see you soon.